Ladies and gentlemen, I'm still with our special coverage of the Global Forum for Higher Education and Scientific Research in its second edition. And on this topic, we're glad to be joined over the phone by Dr. Ahmed Tawab, professor at Menofia University. Good afternoon, sir.
Good afternoon. Thank you for having me.
Thank you for joining us, sir. Dr. Tawab, the budget of higher education has increased 160% in 2020-2021 to reach 65 billion from 25 billion in 2014-2015. Now, what are the most important divisions that benefited from this budget increase in the field of higher education?
I think that Egypt is just trying to send another message to the whole world that the main focus and the main concentration of the government, of everyone inside the country, is just to expand the educational process. Egypt is just sending a message that education is probably the most critical way in order to lead the country forward, in order to achieve all the goals that can be achieved and can be contributed by education. And at the same time to create a sense of creativity and innovation for most sectors in the country. Mm-hmm. It's not just for one level in the society, but for the whole society, as I said before. And the reason here, because Egypt strongly believes that the core point for any civilizational progress is coming by taking care of education, taking care of the students, making the whole educational process to be up to date, digitalized, and this is the message that Egypt is just sending to the whole world.
Yes. Well, sir, according to U.S. News ranking, Egypt has advanced 9 places in the global ranking of universities in 2020 to reach the 45th place. What do you say about this? What's your take on that?
I think that this is a very indicative message that there is a progress happening on the ground. Today, that there is a transformation happening. I would describe that like dramatic change happening for all the educational institutions in our country, starting from the schools and ending up with colleges and universities. So there is something happening on the ground. It indicates that there is progressive sense happening here. And I guess that by having this, we can just understand that Egypt is just moving on the right track. Because at the end, this is a certificate and this is a testimony coming from the outside, and it also tells clearly that there is updates happening, there is a change happening, and there is progress happening on the ground. So this is very indicative, and it gives actually a very positive sense for the whole educational process.
Mm-hmm. Right. Sir, why is it important for the student, the teacher, and the universities to have a global accreditation? I mean, a ranking, a global ranking or international ranking?
Well, in a nutshell, let me just tell you, because today we are living in a small village. I'm not going to say that this is a big world. No, we are very well connected together, and we need, Egypt is just looking for the international markets as well as upgrading the local markets.
Yes.
And so we would like to make the graduate students, all our students, to be up to date and also to be very well educated and to get the international opportunity for education, for employment, to find a good job, not just inside the country, but it's also outside the country. So I think that there is a sense of international dimension here. That is, we would like to make our syllabi to be having that sense of a standard level of international students and international categories. And I guess that this is the main reason. This is probably the target that we are looking for, which is just trying to make the students not just to be overwhelmed by the local job opportunities, but something outside the country as well. And again, let me just tell you back again, because at the end, what we have here is we have international market, and Egypt is just trying to increase the competitiveness of the education, its education process in the international market. So this is the main reason for that.
Mm-hmm. Right. Well, how has Egypt progressed in the field of scientific research and financing research in general?
Well, Egypt already started doing that. So it started to build a strong network with the Egyptian expatriates, with the Egyptian scholars outside Egypt, in different countries, in European universities, in the American universities, and also in different parts in the world. There is today a unified stand, and there is an electronic platform that's connecting all the Egyptian scholars together in order to serve the country. There is a sense here, just we would like to build a bridge between what we have inside the country with something outside the country. So the scenario today is different from the past, and I'm very, very optimistic it will be also distinguishing in the future to try to build a solid network for all the international Egyptian professors and scholars and researchers. This is from one hand. On the other hand, we have also increasing and expanding the funding for having students, inviting students to come to Egypt. Today, there are different departments across Egyptian universities in order to attract international students and study in our country as well. Egypt is just changing today to be an educational hub, not just in the Middle East, but also in Africa as well. So I think that by inviting the students, international students, attracting them, motivating them to come, I think in this way we are just trying to play an international role, and this is what really Egypt deserves.
Yes. So another achievement that took place is the building of technical universities side by side with the technical institutions. Now, how will this benefit students for vocational training? What's your take on this?
I think this is something very critical, because education today, the philosophy of education is different from the past. It's not just about studying something from the textbook, but it's also trying to find what is required in the market today. And I guess that this is what we are trying to do. We are trying to educate our students that the situation today is different from the past. We are trying just to have a sense of connecting the students with something internationally. And in this way, we probably can just tell the students exactly what it is required in the world today. Technical education, vocational training is something that is part and parcel of the whole education process. And I guess that this is the bottom line for having more focus on the technical and vocational training. Egypt started that already a few years ago, and nowadays Egypt is just trying to intensify its efforts to make the job done in the optimal way.
Yes. Well, I would like to thank you very much, Dr. Ahmed Tawab, professor at Menoufian University. Many thanks for your insight. And dear viewers, that wraps up this special coverage of the second Global Forum of Higher Education and Scientific Research. We'll be back with the Panorama News in a short while. Many thanks for watching.